What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Madden Spring League franchise here on Madden 25. We're here with the Dayton Triangles as we embark on our regular season. It's going to be an action-packed regular season because, as I mentioned in the previous episode, we are going to be playing multiple games per episode. And I wasn't joking when I was saying that. Matter of fact, we're going to be playing the majority of our home games, actually majority of our divisional games in this episode alone, as we're going to be playing 4 games. We'll be taking on Evansville twice, once in week 1 as well as in week number 3. We'll also see the Columbus Destroyers in our very first road game of the season. And then we'll close things out outside of the AFC North as we'll take on the Albany Imperials to close out this episode. So it should be a fun quad box type of episode here in Madden 25, one I hope you guys are genuinely excited for. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And first, we got some things that we need to take care of. We got to cut down our roster. Now, we left ourselves with 67 players total that we brought into initial camp, and now we got to cut that thing down to 53 players. So let's go ahead and jump into that now and see who is being recommended to being cut. And thankfully, because how spring football is typically you got a bunch of younger guys. Many of these players that you do see, we could simply move over into the practice squad. And I think for many of these much lower overalls, that's exactly what I want to do, right? I want to try to get many of these guys over to the practice squad, but there is going to be a few exceptions. So for one, we have this Trevor Dempsey guy. Trevor Dempsey, we already have a few other guards on the roster, and he would be our 4th string guard. He would never see the field. He's 26 years old. He's not getting any younger. And so we are going to cut Trevor Dempsey straight up, even though that is not going to have any impact on our cap space, which we do have to certainly monitor. Even though, that being said, because the overalls are not as high, cap space shouldn't be nearly as much of an issue, right? So that should be nice that we could deal with. Now we get to the point where we have one more choice in terms of where we want to go, and I'm leaning towards either Russell Cooks or Randy Dawkins, one of these two, but I'm leaning towards Russell Cooks. And the reason why I'm doing that is that Randy Dawkins is only 23 years old, and I don't have any room left on my practice squad as well. So we're going to go ahead and cut Russell Cooks here. This should save about $1 million in cap space as well, as that will bring us officially down to our 53-man roster. But every good football team has itself a culture, and this is a time of year where we really try to decide what we want our culture to be. And what I really wanted to go with, there was a few different options I wanted to go with, and because, we have such a young quarterback, I want to go, be physical in the trenches, want to be a little bit more reliable with our running game, and then play complementary football, play good defense. Don't put ourselves in a spot to where the rookie quarterback has to come in here and carry us throughout the season. As leading up to our very first game of the season, we do have a press conference as we go and take on tough questions from the media, as we are asked right away about Andrew Culler's development. So Andrew Culler is a rookie quarterback coming out of Arizona State, and we've seen what the trends have been. It seems to be generally what we have noticed in the past is that rookie quarterbacks do have a chance to have a higher probabilities to succeed if they sit for the year But that's not going to be the case with our quarterback. Our quarterback situation, and you kind of saw this in the last episode, Coller's going to have to be someone that's going to have to play for us not only this season, but he's going to be playing for us here day one. So it's going to be a little bit of a trial by fire experience. Let's see how he handles it. So our first game of the season has us going up against the Evansville Thunderbolts. And the Evansville Thunderbolts, we should be similar to an overall. We have a 4 overall disadvantage, but maybe we can close this gap here after we do a couple of things. One is which we do have the ability to upgrade players. So we'll go ahead and jump into that now. And it looks like there's only one player on this list that actually is going to be eligible for an upgrade. And it's the Denario Allen, who is going to be a key contributor in our secondary this season. Now, Denario Allen is a very young player. He's only 23 years old, but he already has this star development. So we absolutely love that. Someone that we could build around on our defense. For now, we're going to let him focus on zone and continue to build him up from that aspect of things. And he's going to move up to being a 78 overall now. He's going to get a +2, most notably to that zone coverage. Another thing that we have to do before the start of any season is we got to set a season goal for ourselves. Now, you see our overall, we're looking at being a 77 overall, with that being the case. And we could be have multiple things that we could do: be conservative, moderate, aggressive, super aggressive. But I want to just go conservative here. Let's commit to being like 4 wins. Let's be one of those teams that really is a thorn in other teams' sides. But in this first season, I don't expect us to have heavy expectations because we are one of the lower rated teams in the league. Alright boys, so we open up our very first game of the season, and we're going to open things up here against one of our divisional opponents in the Evansville Thunderbolts. As we go ahead and get things started here, as we pick up midway through the first quarter, your Dayton Triangles are putting together a little bit of a drive here as we'll throw over the middle to Leon Thomas, who doesn't quite pick up the first down. But you know what? Scared money certainly is not going to make any money for us, so we're going to go for it here. Want to be aggressive. Let's see if it works out for us. Here is 4th and 5. Coller's going to drop back. We throw to the right-hand side, and we are going to be able to pick up that first down. That's our tight end, Heineck, who's able to move the sticks for us. So the drive is still going to continue as we now pick up at a 3rd and short. Going to run it to the outside with Paul Lashley, who's got some space to scoot and gets all the way inside the 10-yard line. Huge first down for the Dayton Triangles, and we could very well be striking first here as we go play action. Looks right inside, but can't fit it in. Too tight of a window for our rookie quarterback to try to punch it through. And now instead, it's going to be 3rd and goal from a couple yards out. Going to try to run it in with Paul Lashley, but runs into a brick wall. And a big decision time moment here for this coaching staff. Are we going to go for it? And you know what? We're feeling spicy. We already have 1 4th down conversion. Can we get a second one? Coller's going to run up the middle, but Paul Ashley runs into a wall again. Presley is there with the initial penetration. And all of that work to get inside the 5-yard line. And we don't have any points to show for it. A difficult result for sure. So we'll find ourselves down 3-0 as Evansville will go ahead. And they will, in fact, march down and get a field goal. But our offense is playing pretty well thus far, at least in between the 20s. And we will redeem ourselves for our last red zone shortfall as Paul Lashley is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton Triangles. And with that, we will actually take the lead. So Evansville finds itself on the back end down 7-3 at the moment. As now we get ourselves closer to halftime. It's been a little bit of a bitter struggle defensively. As now we're going to try to get to this quarterback. However, throwing towards the right-hand side, he does have an open receiver whose name is long and frankly hard to pronounce. As now Evansville is right down on the goal line as well. But we're going to get a little bit of help here, though, as they are going to call a false start on this offensive line. So it does give our defense a little bit of breathing room to work through, but it's not going to matter as our DBs cannot react in time. As Alex Irvin is going to find the end zone, it's a touchdown for the Thunderbolts. So now down 10-7 here, but a chance to convert on a 2-minute drill as we'll get things started here with the halfback screen. Paul Lashley in the open space on the outside and even able to get out of bounds as well. That does allow us to go ahead and, make sure we save some time on that clock. We still have 3 timeouts to work with as we'll try to throw over to the left-hand side, but that will be incomplete as Andrew Collar was facing pressure right away. It's now 2nd and 10 coming up. Looking over to the left-hand side, finds DJ Porter, who identifies as our #1 receiver. Able to pick up a first down for us, but we will have to use a timeout, however, as we'll have yet another 1st and 10. Collar looking over the right-hand side, got an open receiver, back to DJ Porter, who is going to hang on to that catch. And the Dayton Triangles are on the move again. 1st and 10 in Evansville territory, trying to go for the deep shot, but can't throw it out far enough. Vincent is able to get away and deflect that pass at the very last second. But we still have a minute left. We just got to pick up these 6 yards and we'll be all right. As Colin will drop back. Wants to throw it to right inside, and he telegraphs the throw to the short crosser. And unless DJ Porter can catch him, this is going to go the other way, and it's not going to happen. Touchdown, Evansville. And the Thunderbolts are going to extend their lead instead. A golden opportunity for us to take control of this game, and we simply don't. And that pick 6 that we saw just happens to be the difference between us and Evansville here on opening day. As although Andrew Collar has done a nice job moving this offense, it's been difficult to try to make anything happen in between the 20, but that's just what happens when you don't have that, high-level offensive line, especially on the interior. Although Paul Lashley will find the end zone for the 2nd time today to eventually tie things up. However, Evansville is going to drive down, get a field goal, but we are in a familiar spot here. A chance to come out with 2 minutes left. As that is a nice catch by Hudson. He hangs on to that one. As now we'll go and see what we got going here with less than 1:30 left to play in this ball game. Does our rookie quarterback have what it takes to lead us down the length of the field? Collar in the shotgun formation on 3rd and 6. Looking over the middle is going to find DJ Porter. And DJ Porter is going to pick up the first down inside the 30-yard line. This could be field goal range for your Triangles. But with that being said, want to try to go for the win. Don't want to try to risk overtime by any means. 2nd and 10. Collar is going to drop back, but gets hit right away. Forced to use a timeout. That might actually knock us out. Side of field goal range. So 3rd and 18 now, and we're desperately in need of a big play. We might have it from our receiver down the sideline. As that's a nice 10 toes down movement. Let's go, baby. That's Leon Thomas with a big time catch by the sideline. And it moves the chains for the Triangles. As we'll again throw to the right-hand side. Huddick gets away from one and gets out of bounds with 38 seconds to play. Is now 2nd and short coming up. Looking over the middle. Thought about it for a second. Tries to throw late, but the timing is slightly off. And Keller just straight up missed him. That should have been a touchdown. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and 2. Looking over the middle of the field. It's got Huddick in the end zone. Touchdown, Triangles. Dayton is going to take the lead against Evansville with 31 seconds left to play in this ball game. How about that for an effort? And now for our defense, we just need one stop, plain and simple. Can the defense get it done as they look over the middle, and that's going to be completed, and Evansville will already be at about midfield. Their next play after the timeout, still drop back again, and this time they're going to find their man over on the corner. Did not get out of bounds, though, so has to use a second timeout. And then one more timeout there will help get Evansville within the 40-yard line. But still doesn't change the fact they got a Hail Mary of his to the end zone. Time to throw. Gonna throw deep downfield, but it's deflected away. Harmlessly to the ground. And just like that, the Dayton Triangles are going to win their regular season opener. They will shock the Evansville Thunderbolts 24-20. What a win for our team. Checking out the stats for our guys. So as Andrew Kohler, he certainly did his thing, man. He had over 350 yards in his spring league debut. Had an interception, but he did throw a touchdown that ended up winning the game for us. I do want to, however, do a little bit of a better job of getting Paul Lasley involved in the offense. Only having 24 yards rushing, and he's considered one of the best running backs in the spring league, is a little bit unacceptable, even though he did finish with 2 rushing touchdowns. Leon Thomas had an excellent game, though. He had nearly 100 yards receiving on the day, but obviously all the love in the world has got to go to Grayson Huddick, who was able to hold on when it mattered the most. That 3rd and goal late touchdown was the absolute difference, 100%. As for the defense, Jonathan Hicks led the way with 9 tackles, with Ernest Cox and Bobby Dixon both being not too far behind. We were also able to get 1 sack, 1 singular sack. That was Ricky Roberts and Harold Perez, able to combine for half a sack when we were trying to get the ball back one last time. Ernest Cox was also able to get an interception, although that was the only turnover that we were able to force on the day. Now, because of the efforts of our rookie quarterback is going to earn himself a upgrade here. We're going to go ahead and put it on improviser, give him that ability to work a little bit better in outside of the, motion of the offense per se. He was good with the offense for sure. Don't get me wrong. That is something, that certainly cannot be disputed. But at the same time, just when the play breaks down, it is something that he does need to be a little bit better than that. So hopefully that will certainly help him in future games. And then one of our offensive linemen is also going to be able to go and get a not dev upgrade, I should say, but gonna get some Liddy luck here. We're gonna work on his agility here. That will bring him up. He should be I want to say a 60 overall. He does at least get a +2 to awareness. Feels good to be 1-0 though, I'll tell you that. But as we advance into week number 2, we do get yet another upgrade. This upgrade is going to be specifically for Matt Weaver. Matt Weaver on the verge of being an 80 overall guy, although that's not his natural overall. So we're going to go ahead and put that into Power Rusher. And sure enough, he is going to be a natural 80 overall, with current boost being at 82 overall at the moment. But after the game, we do get some questions in a following press conference. Just ask us how we feel in terms of how did we perform in that season opener. And let me just say this, man, I am proud of how our guys battled in that particular season opener. Feels good to be able to start the season off 1-0. But who deserves the most credit? I mean, it's gotta be the defense. I mean, allowing the defense to only score 20 points in a game, that means a lot. They made critical plays when it mattered the most. They kept us in the game when our offense made mistakes, and it just feels good to get, some of that love and admiration from our defensive guys. It really means the world to me, as we'll go ahead and focus in on our next opponent, who happens to also be a part of the division as well. And that divisional opponent is an in-state opponent, actually. It is going to be the Columbus Destroyers. And this is actually the first time that we go on the road this season to take on Columbus, who is still searching for their first win of the season. They're currently sitting at 0-1 as we speak. As now we'll go ahead and see this Columbus team go to work. And early on, the Columbus Destroyers will find pay dirt as Casey Baker will get a receiving touchdown in order to start things out. So just like that, we dig ourselves in a little bit of a hole, but something that we can certainly navigate for sure. However, we do face a penalty as we had the first down, but then that holding from Eric Carey is going to knock us back significantly. So instead, it's going to be 3rd and 8. We throw to the left-hand side, and it doesn't matter. Leon Thomas is going to find the first down for us anyways, as Leo Thomas continues to be a good little ball player for us here, man. Love what he's been able to do. We might be calling his number again here on the 3rd and 10, trying to go to the right-hand side. It's caught by DJ Porter. A deep throw to the right corner, as that will set up 1st and goal for Dayton. A big next couple of plays here in order to get us right back into the game, as Paul Lashley almost scores for the 3rd time this season, but it's only 1 yard short. So you already know we might be calling his number later, but first we're going to try to throw up the middle, and that's not going to work. The slant is incomplete. So now we'll try to run it up the gut here as Paul Lashley lines up under center. Offensive line gets a push, and we find the end zone. Touchdown, triangles. And Dayton's going to be right back into this ball game. And that was a touchdown that we desperately needed. So with that being said, we're only down by 4 here with less than a couple of minutes left in the half. And Columbus, you know, they call this halfback screen here. And the halfback screen does come with some success, but it does not do enough in order to actually move the chains. So with that being said, that does mean that we are now looking at a 4th and short, which they're going to go for it here. Throwing over to the left-hand side, and he finds a receiver. That's Dion Thomas, no relation to Leon Thomas at all, the Leon on our team. And so the drive continues, and Columbus wants more points on the board before we do go into the halftime locker room break. We'll see if they can get that kind of break, as it looks like Columbus is going to just settle for the field goal after they fail to pick up the first down. And the field goal is up, and it's going to be good. So it allows Columbus to create a little bit more space as we get a little bit deeper into the second half. But you know what's happening with our guys right now? We are certainly not going to be going away anytime soon. Paul Lashley is going to find the end zone, and eventually that's going to help the Dayton Triangles surge forward, as we will have a 4-point lead, and this could be the dagger. Spencer couldn't get himself up soon enough to try to take that back to the crib. But man, that is a big turnover that we were able to force there. And so that could have been the difference maker in this game, but unfortunately we could not capitalize. And so the Columbus Destroyers still have a chance to win this game, but if we play our cards right, this could be the last time that Columbus has the ball in their hands. As our corner Peter Townsend doesn't do any favors for us, getting called for illegal contact. As now Columbus will throw to the left-hand side. It's got an open receiver back to Thomas. And that allows Curtis, this Columbus quarterback, to throw for over 300 yards on the day. He's been on that kind of time. Whereas on the very last play before the 2-minute warning, Columbus is going to score. And with that being said, Columbus is going to take the lead with just a couple of minutes left here in this ball game. So with that being said, it's back in the hands of Andrew Collar, who helped lead a game-winning drive in the season opener. We'll see if he can lead 2 for us here, as Collar's going to drop back, looks over to the right-hand side, finds an open Chris Saxon, and Saxon will pick up the first down, but we will use one of our timeouts at the NFL game. Even if you pick up the first down, if you don't get out of bounds, that clock is not going to stop. It really feels like a true 2-minute drill, which Paul Lashley cuts back to the left-hand side, wanted extra yards, but did not fight to get out of bounds. And so the clock's going to continue to run. Less than 1:30 left. Looking to the right-hand side. Scott's hiding down the sideline. Huge play, but there's a penalty down on the field. It looks like no. It's going to be pass interference on the defense. Here comes Dayton. The triangle's now on the verge of the red zone as Collar looks over the left-hand side, but never sees the safety. Oh, no. That could be over, chat. Jason Cotton is capable of making the game-winning interception, or at least so we thought. 3rd and 9 here for Columbus. If they pick up this first down, this game is definitely going to be over. If not, we still have a chance. Dropping back on a 3rd and 9, but it's not complete. It is completed, and it's going to be ran all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Columbus. And the Destroyers are going to crush our hopes and dreams. We will drop our first game of this inaugural season of a full-fledged UFL. It was a heartbreaker for sure. So in almost every metric you want to take a look at, Columbus did end up winning because they had a significant advantage in offensive yards gained today, and this is particularly the case like on the ground. We lost pretty badly on the ground, if we're going to be honest with you, but this was just the type of team that, you know, we made the stingy plays. We were able to hang around, just couldn't make those plays when it mattered the most. Now, Andrew Collar was solid in this game. He was 26 for 39, so he had a solid completion percentage, threw a touchdown, but that interception late was what really sealed this game and really sealed our fate in our first loss of the season. Now, with that being said, Paul Lashley still kind of struggling to get going. He was a little bit better today, but would like to get those rushing numbers up, albeit we did find a way to get multiple touchdowns with him. Receiving-wise, DJ Porter had a big performance. The Georgetown product had over 100 yards receiving in this matchup. Grayson Hoddick did manage to haul in his 2nd touchdown of the episode. And shoot, Chris Saxon had a pretty solid game himself. The defense had its ups and downs today, though, as Ernest Cock did lead the way. Cock had double-digit tackles with 10, with Denario Allen and Paul Bass not too far behind with 8 tackles apiece. We also did a very good job of generating pass rush. Matter of fact, we had 5 sacks today. Dylan Wright, Cameron Spencer, Tim Avon, Matt Weaver, Josh Jimenez all had sacks today, and we were able to at least force 1 fumble. Dylan Wright had a fumble which was recovered by Cameron Spencer. If he tried to scoop it up, he probably would have had himself a scoop and score potentially, but it didn't work out that way. Still happy that we got at least a turnover forced, and listen, we played well, it just wasn't well enough to win. But we get to a point where we're taking a look at who we're looking at in terms of, you know, who wants to be a part of this team moving forward. And with us having like a lesser overall roster, so to speak, we have a lot of decisions that we need to make, as over half of our roster is going to be on expiring deals. But that's always been the reality of what we see in Spring League football. But for now, we will enjoy a couple of upgrades that we do have on the roster. For the backup tailbacks, this is Nathan Thompson and Joe Spears, who both back up our starting running back. And so we're going to go ahead and get it started here. Nathan Thompson is up first. I'm going to put a point into power back, and he's going to move up to a natural 74 because of it, where he most notably gets himself a +2 bonus to that stiff arm. And I think he actually gets a bonus for like elusive back as well. We'll see what Joe Spears ends up moving up to, as we're going to go ahead and push it into the receiving back upgrade, and he actually does move up 1 overall. He's going to be a natural 69 overall, which actually is pretty nice for spring league football if I say so myself. So this is simply how scheduling ended up working out for us, but we actually will be taking on Evansville once again. Now, we do have one win against Evansville so far this season. I just want to see if we can make it 2 wins versus Evansville, as we'll dump it off to Saxon, who picks up a good gain for us, gain of 6, good little quick check over to his receiver, and just steadily moving this ball down the field, as Collar is going to drop back, wants to throw it into the seam, and he's got it. Touchdown, Dayton, and the Triangles will take an early lead here going on the road. A nice touchdown pass to Chris Saxon to take that 7-0 lead. However, we figured this out in the first game that they have a pretty darn good quarterback who's got that X factor on him, as now Evansville will drop back, looks over to the left-hand side. He's got his tailback, and thankfully our defense is able to do a good job there rallying to the football, and that makes it 2nd and 5. But we still got to find a way to get some pressure on this quarterback, because, oh my goodness, this quarterback is simply dotting us up right now, and eventually leads to a goal line situation. 3rd and goal, as Evansville will look to throw for it. Facing some pressure, has to throw it away. And that means Evansville's going to have to settle for a field goal. Big win for our defense. One that I'm certainly excited about. And one that could allow our team to come out here and take a commanding lead before we go into the halftime locker room, as we'll pick things up here later in the 2nd quarter. And Paul Lashley hasn't gotten a ton of chances today, but when he's did, he's been very effective. Oh, we had a chance to score again, though. It was open. It was 100% there, but a misfire, unfortunately, leads to 3rd and 9. As now Collar will look to try to pick up the sticks, looking around, trying to throw over the middle of the field, but it's going to be intercepted, telegraphing that middle of the field, as he won that corner route at first, but by the time he got over to the center, Rashawn Jenkins was already there. So that means that we had to give up on this chance to put more points on the board. And now all of a sudden it's a tie ball game here once again. So we have a little bit of a exciting battle on our hands, as we'll try to convert on the 2-minute drill. As now, 1st and 10 coming up. Collar's going to drop back. Looks over to the left-hand side. Gets it out to Huddick. And Huddick is able to get himself out of bounds while picking up a decent chain of yards as well. 2nd and short coming up as we go with the slant pattern to Chris Saxon. And Saxon's been having a solid day for his 5 catches for 51 yards. We'll see if that continues, as we'll try to pull a fast one here, going with our tailback, Paul Lashley, who's got some space on the outside. And that is going to be another 1st down for the Dayton Triangles. 1 minute left with 30 at the 30-yard line. Looking to the right-hand side, but Huddick cannot get away. And now we will have to go use one of our timeouts. We still got 2 timeouts to work with, so we're in a pretty good spot right now. However, this pass, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea what we were looking at there. But that really is going to ruin a very good 2-minute drive. And just like that, Evansville has the ball. And now Evansville, they have a chance to put some points on the board. All of a sudden, we'll see if our defense can help recover. Here we go with a 3rd and short coming up, as Evansville will use one of their timeouts. We got them down to their last timeout with 14 seconds left, so a couple more plays and we should be able to get them out. But then we saw this pass thrown towards the back of the end zone, and we don't even have to worry about all of that. We hold Evansville to a field goal. So 13-10 ends up being your score as we now get into the second half of action. Still could go in either direction here. This has been a very insightful game here in this second time in 3 weeks that we've been taking on this Evansville team. As now, third down coming up, we try to set up the screen for Paul Lashley, who tries to cut it inside, and while he doesn't end up breaking any ankles, he does create just enough breathing space in order to pick up that first down, keeps the drive going, and eventually, Collar's just going to trust his legs. He's not a slow guy at all, as Andrew Collar is going to find his way into the end zone. Touchdown triangles! And Dayton is going to retake the lead against the Evansville Thunderbolts. Meanwhile, later on in the third quarter, we do end up seeing Evansville on the back foot. We have a chance to possibly shut the door as we'll try to set up a screen for DJ Porter, who almost got away initially there. But Porter just could not break that tackle in open space. Really good open field tackle. Still a very positive play, though, that sets up second and short as we'll run to Paul Lindsley up the gut. And there was a big, wide, butt naked hole up the middle. And that's going to be good for a first down. Goal line opportunity coming up for the Triangles as Collar looks over to the right-hand side. And it's a dangerous throw. Luckily, that head was turned. Otherwise, that could have been some real danger there. So now it's going to be third and goal instead. Collar looking to the right-hand side. And I thought we had the flat open. That was just an excellent job covering that flat. Needed a little bit more touch there because he was definitely open. So that's going to force the field goal attempt. We do make the field goal, but Evansville can still tie it up, but not if I have something to say on it. It's a rare good play by the user, Townsend, with the interception, baby. Let's go, man. That's what I'm talking about. And now we have a chance to put this game on ice. Let's get a touchdown on this drive and put these bums away. As now, third and 3. Collar looks over to the left-hand side. Wide, butt naked open is DJ Porter. Nobody covering him. And Andrew Collar continues his nice performance. Well over 200 yards for the day. He's off to a great pace here for a rookie quarterback. As now we'll run it with Paul Lashley, but is met right away. Had a hole for a second, but just could not get there in the nick of time. And so, that being said, we do end up settling for a field goal. And that does keep Evansville still in this game as Thunderbolts are still able to get a couple of turnovers themselves. But this should do it, though. Paul Bass down the sideline, and he's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Dayton! It's a pick 6 for Paul Bass. And that is going to do it here, y'all. Or at least it should, because Evansville does technically have one more attempt at this. 7 seconds left. Gotta throw it 86 yards. We already know what time it is. And sure enough, we will officially get the win there. As that is going to give us our second win in the first 3 games of the season. The Dayton Triangles win another one, and we win our second game against a divisional rival. You love to see it. And so we end up winning this game, even though Evansville did actually outgain us by a pretty significant margin, if we're being honest. And one of the main reasons why we did that was because we actually won the turnover battle for a change, which, as you guys may know, is a rarity here with my aggressive kind of play style that I like to play with sometimes. As for specific stats for guys, Andrew Collar did struggle a little bit here, kind of going in the wrong direction, if we're being honest. 222, 1 touchdown. Did throw multiple interceptions today, so it was his worst passing game as a professional, but he does make up for it a little bit by finding the end zone on the ground as well, helping out Paul Lashley, who's still trying to find his way a little bit with that running game, albeit his offensive line doesn't help him too terribly much sometimes. Chris Saxon does pick up a touchdown through the air. He had 7 catches for 72 yards today, and that does lead all of our receivers in the regard, but this defense surely made some big plays here towards the end, as Dylan Wright is going to lead the team in tackles pretty considerably. He had 14 tackles in this game, but he was literally all over the field in this one. Bobby Dixon wasn't as far behind with 8 total tackles. Meanwhile, Dylan White and Harold Perez did combine for a sack, but that was the only sack that we had. But 3 turnovers today. Paul Bass, he accounts for 2 such turnovers, one of which he was actually successful to taking to the crib. And then we also had a interception with Peter Townsend, which I'm really proud of this particular one, because this is a user interception. You always have to celebrate the little things, man, and that's a big reason why we're 2-1 now. But right after the game, though, we do have a few people that are in fact eligible to get some upgrades, and it starts with one of our anchors on the offensive line, Eric Carey. Eric Carey is looking to become an 83 overall, and we will do that with him here, as Eric Carey will get a +2 in run block power, among other things. So he's now considered an 83 overall. But that's not all. We have another offensive lineman looking to get upgraded as well. Anton Mills, currently sitting at a 74. We're going to try to get him up to a 75 overall, which is exactly what we do. Also getting some finesse ability, plus a +1 to awareness, which is certainly not so bad either. And then we wrap things up here with Brian Spence. Brian Spence comes in as a 64 overall. Listen, we do play quite a bit of zone, so I do want to get his zone up a little bit. He does get up to a natural 65 overall with that +3 in zone coverage, but because of morale issues, he is actually going to stay at a 64, even though we just won, baby. So Paul Bass's efforts actually do get recognized, as Paul Bass was named Conference Player of the Week. His 5 tackles and 2 interceptions does get him named to be that defensive player. With him getting that interception return for a touchdown, I think we're also just happier with the simple fact that we were just able to win the game in the first place, man. Speaking of Paul Bass, though, we do have an upgrade available for him because of his temporary morale boost. He's now up to a 77. Again, I do want to boost his zone a little bit just so that we can make him a little bit more well-rounded, and he does get up to a natural 76 because of the fact that we do get +2 to zone coverage, plus a little bit of help with play recognition too, which is nice to see. There was another upgrade that we had for Anthony Alexander. He's someone that hasn't seen the field much yet this season, but he's been working hard in practice, so we'll try to get him up to a 63 overall, although he is a 64 natural. He does get some significant boosts to break tackle and medium route running as well. Alright, man, so we're coming up on honestly our very first non-divisional game that we played this entire season, and coming up on this 4th game of the season, we get asked how Andrew Collar's been playing. And I honestly, for me, this might have been a little bit of a miscommunication, because from what I've seen, in the gameplay, he actually has been doing a pretty good job of being somewhat efficient. But, outside of those gameplay and those sim moments outside of the sim, then I guess it's a different story, because it's almost still the press wasn't really agreeing with our answer, and we leave our offense up to be criticized from the trolls. So we accidentally drop our offensive morale by 8 points because of that. Hopefully it doesn't kill us too much, as we'll now get into this next game that we have here, taking on a good Albany Imperials team. They're coming in 2-1. We're 2-1 ourselves. So big chance here early on in this game to really set a tone. As Paul Lashley, he hasn't had a ton of chances to carry the rock like I wanted to so far this season, but when he has touched the ball, he's been extremely effective. And of course, I'm going to miss my receiver there. He was open, but we just did not hit him right. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 instead as we try to go with a little bit of play action. And Hudson does get open for us there, nearly picks up the first down as we do go to him again. But let's see if we can pick up this 3rd and short though, as we try to go with a little bit of a jet sweep. But we almost, no, we do not get to the outside. Chris Saxon is going to end up being stuffed there. And that does mean that we had to punt this ball away. But Albany, they can't do anything with the ball at first either. So now here we are late in the first quarter. Still have a chance to come out here and take an early lead. And we get DJ Porter the ball. He was wide but naked open on what really was essentially a screen. And DJ Porter, he had a good performance last week. 6 catches, 56 yards. A solid fantasy performance. Not a liquid or a gas, I would say. But it does set up a 2nd and short, which could be seen as a premium play action down. But instead, we are just going to go ahead and run with Paul Lashley. Let's just take the yards where we can. As now we'll go over to the left-hand side, looking for DJ Porter. But Porter could not make the diving grab. So instead, it's going to be a 3rd and 7 where Collar's going to drop back. Wants to go over to the left-hand side. That does end up being caught by DJ Porter. And that's going to be good for a 1st down. So a nice start for this offense. Able to steadily move the ball down the field. As Lashley's going to get to the outside here a little bit. A 7-yard run. And Paul Lashley is certainly feeling himself here in this first quarter. Getting a lot of love. As we'll try to throw over to the middle. We find Chris Saxon again. This time he is wide but naked open. As now 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. As Collar's going to drop back the pass. Looks over to the right-hand side. Wants to throw over to the middle last second. But the defensive line gets home. Forces the incompletion. So we did have a little bit of space there, but just couldn't fit it in. Or at least didn't have the time to deliver it down the field. And eventually it will set up a 3rd and 5 to start things out here in the 2nd quarter. Paul Lashley, we'll see if we can get the ball to Paul Lashley. He's open downfield, and he does not hang on to it. He drops the pass. That should have been a 1st down. Might have been thinking about how he's going to try to juke somebody out of their shoes. But with that being said, man, we had to settle for a field goal. And so we'll go ahead and get it going here. 1st and goal coming up after we nearly score with Chris Saxon. It's going to ultimately bring us down to really the 1-yard line. But we try to set up a play action here. Collar rolling to his right. Wants to throw towards the back of the end zone. But it's going to be deflected away at the last moment. And so it eventually brings 3rd and goal. Trying to punch it in with Paul Lashley. Lashley runs it up the middle, but has nowhere to go. And that is going to be 4th down. And you know what? We just decided to take the points. You know, didn't want to risk it for the biscuit too much there. Defense has been playing extremely well, but I might be regretting that decision, though. Because right towards the end of the first half, Norman Camarade is going to find the end zone. Albany would take the lead into halftime. But the Dane Triangles, man, we're certainly going to fight back as we have a chance to take a 10-point lead here. 1st and goal from the 2-yard line as Collar is going to drop back. Wants to throw to right-hand side. Had him open late on the slant, but again, the pressure gets home to influence that pass. And a 2nd and goal instead, but thankfully, nothing to worry about this time around as our offensive line is able to win at the line of scrimmage when it matters the most. Paul Lashley doing some kind of you know, a little bit of a suspicious dance, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little sus, but hey, you know what? We're not going to question it too much, though. He did score for us, and that's all we care about, man. You know, we just care about getting them points on the board, and we have a chance to win this thing here. Just got to get one more stop on defense, and this defense has been playing incredibly well today. So here we are, 4th and 6, and a chance to finally put the needle in the coffin for Albany, who has time for play action, and it's caught deep downfield. First down for the Imperials, and Albany is going to remain alive. So 2 timeouts for Albany, so plenty of time to move here as they'll throw to the left-hand side, and how is that caught? I have absolutely no idea there. So the penalty is going to be called, and it's offsides. It's against us. So even if we somehow got an interception or an incompletion, it wouldn't have mattered. And now Albany is going to score. They get a touchdown on the board. Brian Joseph is going to tie this game up. And so this has been very similar. This has been very familiar in this episode. Andrew Collar with the ball in his hands with 2 minutes left in the game. He has a chance to put the needle in the thread. Can he lead the day in triangles on a game-winning drive? He's already got one this season. Collar looks right, but he throws behind his receiver while trying to throw on the run there. It's incomplete. And so it's 2nd and 10 coming up as Collar wants to load up downfield. He might have somebody, but the safety comes over at the last moment as Dobbs is going to break it up. So now it's 3rd and 10. DJ Porter is going to be moved into the motion here, trying to get Porter open. Could be a little bit of a man concept as we decide to throw to a different receiver. He had Porter wide but naked open, and the rookie quarterback just got greedy there. So we ended up playing 4 quarters of action, and even though we played 4 quarters, we still don't have a winner yet. We are tied up at 20 apiece. And that does mean that we are, in fact, going to have overtime here. Let's see how overtime ends up working out as we will go to work. We actually do get the ball first in our hands, so we have a chance to win this game. As now we'll go ahead and get things kicked off. Overtime rules adopted by the UFL, and this is a great return by Spears, who almost takes it to the crib, but he gets caught from behind. That could have been game over from the start. Instead, it's in the hands of this Dayton offense, who tries to throw to the left-hand side. Really loves that deep comeback route, which is a good route against man coverage, but the corner just makes a better play. But even with the penalty is on our offense, and Albany is going to be able to win. They get a game-winning field goal, as this is going to be a heartbreaking loss for your guys, as we'll fall to 2-2. So this game ended up being a very even game here, game that we saw go into overtime. Unfortunately, what happened for us, and I think what the biggest difference obviously was that we did turn the ball over a couple of times today, while Albany was completely clean. They did not have a single turnover, and that ultimately ends up being the difference. Now, for our starting quarterback, Andrew Collar, he was all right in this game, 24 for 36, which is a very efficient number, and threw for 260 yards. Unfortunately, that interception is what ultimately is going to cost us the game. Paul Lashley was able to get a little bit more involved, though. We had 16 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown, so a step in the right direction on that front, getting one of our best players on our team more involved in the offense. While as for the receivers, DJ Porter continues to show that he is one of the best receivers in spring football. He had 7 catches for 90 yards in this one, and that did lead all of our Dayton triangle receivers in this particular matchup. And then defensively, I thought defensively we played fine. We played perfectly fine. Ernest Cox in particular was all over this field for us. He had 17 tackles in this game, man. Most of those being solos too. He flew all over the field Denario Allen, Cameron Spencer, and Harold Perez all had a sizable number of tackles as well. We also did a good job getting to this quarterback today on top of that. Perez, for example, had 2.5 sacks, while Cameron Spencer had 1.5, so 4 sacks between these two guys alone. And then Ernest Cox and Josh Jimenez were also able to get to this quarterback. So even though we did not force any turnovers today, what we did manage to do was we really created absolute hell for that Albany passing attack, being absolutely disruptive up front. But even though we took a really difficult loss in our final game of the episode, we still get a few guys that are going to go ahead and get some upgrades for us here, right? So the first one that we do end up having is our guy Paul Lashley. Paul Lashley does come in with a 95 overall already, and so we're going to try to see if we can improve that even further, as I want to work on him as a power back. You know, that's going to help us out down in the goal line a little bit more. He does move up to a 96 overall, although he's a 94 right now because of some morale issues that we are certainly having on the team right this second. We also have Rashad Belton also getting some love. He's an 81 at the moment. We're going to work on his power as of right now, and that is going to push his power up to a 70. That's going to help with run blocking ability. On 81 overall already as just 24 years old. You love to see that. And then one of our backup offensive linemen, I think Seth Knowles, is going to get an upgrade as well. We're going to work on agility, make that a little bit more of a development grade. And he actually gets up 2 overalls for this, because he gets +3 in run block and also a +2 in pass block finesse as well. Now, before we ended up signing off here today, I wanted to take a quick look around our spring football league to see, where all these other teams are standing right now. So for us specifically, we're actually tied for first place to start things out, as both Columbus and Pittsburgh just so happen to also have a 2-2 record. But taking a quick look outside of the division, the Houston Roughnecks are currently leading the AFC South with a 3-1 record, with the San Antonio Brahmas being right behind them. In the AFC East, the DC Defenders, who will play in the next episode actually, they have a 4-1 record, and Albany's win does boost them up to 3-1. And then in the AFC West, the St. Louis Battlehawks currently are ahead. They are 3-1, with the Salt Lake City Condors being right behind them. They're currently sitting at 2-2 as of right now. Meanwhile, over in the NFC, starting with the North, the Chicago Enforcers are going to be tied with the Michigan Panthers with a 3-1 record apiece, with the Louisville Thoroughbreds, who we did play in the preseason. They're currently sitting at 2-2. In the NFC South, the New Orleans Breakers are actually undefeated right now, although the Atlanta Legends are right behind them, so it could be an interesting thing to watch in the NFC South. For the East, there's actually 2 undefeated teams right this moment. You got the Charleston Dirty Birds, who are 4-0, and then also the Charlotte Knights also are currently sitting at a 4-0 record themselves. New Jersey is hanging in there with a 2-2, while Philadelphia is still looking for their first win of the year. In the NFC West, we have the LA Wildcats currently on top with a 3-1 record, while the Arizona Hotshots are right behind them. And that is going to recap things here for at least the first 4 weeks of our first spring football league season. So next episode, we are going to play a couple of games in the next episode. This is the first time that we're not playing at 1 o'clock, right? So this is a little bit more of a primetime moment for us. So with that being said, what we are going to do is we are going to play the entire DC Defenders game, and then we'll also show highlights from our divisional matchup against the Pittsburgh Maulers. Really excited to play DC, man. They're 4-0, and we've had some good moments ourselves, 2-2, with the position to possibly be 4-0 ourselves, and DC is right about the same level as us, so should be a fun episode, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, if you enjoyed Dayton Triangles football on Madden 25, I need you to go ahead and do a couple of things for me real fast. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.